There were things I wanted to do in Black that they wouldn't let me do, and some of it was just so. Okay, some of it was valid, right? We had a scene with the preacher who thought he was performing an exorcism, but he was crazy. He was really being asked to perform a baptism, and so he drowns this. Well, we had this great shot of, and I have kids, right? I love kids. I'm a nice, gentle guy, but it's a fantasy, right? And in the scene, there was this great shot of him pushing this little, 5-day-old into the baptismal, into the water, and his little arms and chubby little legs are kicking around in there, and he's just like shoving the thing down there, because in his mind, he's like exorcising this demon. Sony made us cut that. Now, I understand that. That makes sense. As much as I would have liked to have seen that, I understand that. But then you know what it was? It gave people within the company an opportunity to kind of play the, aren't I noble and pious, and aren't I normal card? And it's like, you.
The voice inside me was a figment of my imagination. My God, it was all in my mind.
It was just an opportunity for people to act like, I want to say something and I want to make a statement. And it's like, please get the out of my kitchen. I'm trying to cook this stew.
A man cannot hide from himself. There is only one path before me.
A big part of making a game is just getting a visual image of what this thing's going to look like. We had a machine now that we could really do some nice graphics on, take it to a different level. And this one was the first time I felt like we were really creating a universe, a place that was apart from the world, that when you go into it, you feel like you're really in a consistent, interesting world. I still really like the suburbs in Twisted Metal Black. That was the level where we had these concepts and we had rendered it on a PC, and to see that turn into a level you can actually play and keep the art style and the personality. It holds a special place in my heart. I still really like that level just because of those things.
I definitely don't think it's the best game in the series. I think 2 is still the best game in the series. I think, honestly, at that time, I had gotten bored of the mechanics of the series. And so what I was in love with on Twisted Metal Black was the world. And I think because of that, the gameplay actually suffered. It was too hard. It wasn't creative enough. We really tied ourselves up being forced to every level having the same color palette of browns and blacks and grays and clouds in the sky rolling by. And I think the core experience, the interactive experience of that game really, really suffered because of it. And the good news is, just from a career standpoint, we had enough of the other stuff. We pulled off the atmosphere so well, and some of the sort of surface stuff so well, that we kind of got a free pass on the fact that the gameplay was good, but it wasn't great. But I definitely think it's probably the least quality gameplay. I think 2 is the best, 1 is the second best, and Black is the third best.
The cars would get designed first, and then characters, we would talk about cool, compelling, weird, wacky type of characters. And that was just kind of a process of applying those different characters to the different cars. And that was always a fun process, and one that really endured a lot of changes throughout the development. And, that used to really frustrate the hell out of me. It's like, wait a minute, why is this character now in that car? Jaffe, what the hell is going on here? But there was always a good, sound, solid reason for it. And, again, in the end, the characters, I think, really were a good fit to the cars.
A lot of times with characters, it's Dave Jaffe sends us this wacky stuff that we go, what is this? It's like, he sent us these photos of something we called Zipper Chick, and it was a large person in leather with zippers and holding fetuses and things.
My favorite character would have to be Mr. Grimm.
I think my mind bent so much it snapped in two.
I just really like the whole, the speed of his motorcycle. He can get into and out of trouble quickly. I like his, the Gatling gun sidecar is really cool. You can never go wrong with a skull helmet. I mean,
Axel was, tied up in those tires. In order to gain his freedom out of the huge tires that he was molded to or robotically connected to, he literally ripped his arms out of the tires. We had some dripping blood, some disgusting sound, and I just never thought we were going to get away with it.
Oh my God! I am a free man, and you are no longer my father.
There was a character that was named Scott Campbell in the game, and he was the driver of Spectre. I was pretty stoked about the character. In fact, I really didn't even know that he was going to be called Scott Campbell until I saw it show up. It's kind of a surprise. Always usually a pleasant surprise when you find out, wow, I wonder what the backstory is on this one.
I love Sweet Tooth. My first memory of Sweet Tooth was we had a list of potential vehicles and characters, and one line said, ice cream truck driven by a demonic clown.
Here's where Sweet Tooth, I think, came from now. At 36 years old, I can tell you. So I actually spoke to a therapist about this several years ago, and I said, okay, Kratos, who's a character I had a huge hand in creating from God of War, and Sweet Tooth, who's a character I had a huge hand in creating for Twisted Metal. Both of these characters are testosterone-fueled, aggressive, animalistic. They take exactly what they want when they want it. And I'm not going to go into too many personal details about my life, but let's just say for the longest time, certainly when I was developing those characters, that wasn't who I was if you saw me walking down the street. But I can promise you that that's who I was underneath the surface.
As much as I had those old urges of mine, I kept them to myself for the moment.
It's interesting how who you really are and what you really want ends up coming out in your creative work. That was such a revelation to me when I realized that I realized that, Jesus, Sweet Tooth is me. Kratos is me. That was both terrifying and very, very exciting.
But I think it's run its course. It's spanned through 3 different platforms, and again, I think sometimes it's good to leave on a high note.
We know that it entertained a lot of people. We know it kept a lot of people up late.
Anytime a game does not have good characters and good stories, you just end up with a lousy game.
We need to find what is going to spark something, that gets people interested in a genre again.
The spark will come back, and we'll have a lot of really cool new ideas. I would hate to say that it's farewell. I hope down the road, maybe someday we'll see it made into a movie. I don't think we're the kind of beloved series that really goes down in sort of gaming history as like, oh my God, that's one of the best games ever. But I love that position for this series. I think that's what the series, it feels pure to me. It feels like that's what it's meant to be. And when it resonates with those kinds of people, that makes me really, really happy. There's a lot of hardcore fans of the series, and they'll write to us and they'll call us and tell us all this stuff that we don't know.
My favorite Twisted Metal level? I'd have to say it's Moscow and Twisted Metal 2. There's something about the balance in there. There's not enough weapons. There needs to be more weapons, but something about that ball design is freaking nice and balanced.
We've been really fortunate that we've had great fans and lots of excitement, in the marketplace for our stuff, and that just makes it all worthwhile.
Twisted Metal 2 to me was a classic game in my eyes, but I was craving a game that was a little darker, a little more violent, a little more disturbing, and Twisted Metal Black definitely delivered that hands down. Thank you for all the great feedback that we've gotten over the years. I think it's really helped shape the game for the better.
Let's talk Twisted Metal. I love Twisted Metal, and the reasons have changed quite a bit over the years, but the thing that's always been constant from day one is that it's just got, to me, the most incredibly deep multiplayer experience.
To the fans of Twisted Metal, You guys are loyal, you guys are passionate.
For whatever reason, Twisted Metal has always just been a very good game for replay value. It never gets old for me, and a lot of people from PMA just feel the same way. And we hope you guys keep that up. It's really a tremendous aspect of the series.
That you care enough about what we do to write about it, to blog about it, to make boards about it, and most importantly to play it and to enjoy it. And so thank you so much for caring about our work. That means everything to us.
I love Twisted Metal because I love fast-paced combat, I love blowing crap up, I love multiplayer, playing with my friends, but most importantly, it's great to have a story with characters you can relate to.
Yeah, what can you say? Thank you.